Hello everybody, welcome to More Fanime. I am your fan of More Anime, and today we will be talking about Punk Hazard, but more specifically, this is my second half of Punk Hazard, chapters 678 to 699. That's right, I'm on the cusp of chapter 700, which means I'm only 300 and give or take 45 chapters away from catching up to everybody. What the hell, people? This is going, at this point, almost too fast. I need to slow down because I love One Piece now more than almost anything in the anime world. It is so well done. It is so well written. The world building is just fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah, every once in a while you'll get an arc like, top of my head, Fishman Island wasn't necessarily spectacular, but it was an easy 7 out of 10. Even the worst arcs in One Piece are still absolutely fantastic. Another example would be the Foxy Pirate arc that everybody told me was bad, and I absolutely adore that mini arc. It was absolutely hilarious. But today we are talking about Punk Hazard, and I gotta say, this arc was a blast! It had funny moments, it had serious moments, it had everything in between. I think everybody got some time to shine. Excuse me if I sound a little stuffed up. I got a little bit of a congestion going on here. Hopefully that will take care of itself soon. But it kicks off, the second half kicks off with the crew reuniting once again. That's one thing that does seem to be something that happens with the crew every single time. They land on an island some way, somehow, individually, or in groups, and then by the midway point of an arc, or by the end, they end up back together. The only one that I could think of that was different was like Sabaody, where they all got split up individually at the very end, and it took a literal saga, the Marineford saga, to get them all back together again. 2 years of training as well. But that was a major pinnacle moment. I would not be surprised if in the next arc, which I'm assuming is Dressrosa, where we're going next. That's my assumption from where this one ended off. I would not be wrong in saying that the group will probably get split up again and then come back together again. And I'm all here for it. So the crew gets back together, riding on the back of the crocodile alligator man, Brownbeard, who should be dead because he got shot point blank by the Yeti brothers, who we have not seen since they got their asses handed to them. Thank God, because their guns must be loaded with blank bullets, because they seriously couldn't kill Brownbeard at point blank range. He brings them together again. And then we have Kinemon, I think, is the samurai that was all separated. I think his name is Kinemon. He teaming up. He's with Sanji and Zoro. He's also badass because of the last arc. In the last half, we found out he's got a badass flame sword. I would not be mad if Zoro got his sword. Just saying. Or even Brook. Brook's a swordsman. He could take it. Fuck. Who knows? We get to see Brook showing off his cool spirit ability in this first chapter of this second half. Looking like a total freak. The Navy and the Straw Hats and Law need to team together once again. I would like to know where the heck Law's crew is. To be honest, I would be fine with the idea that Law's crew was all killed or taken captive by Doflamingo or something, or maybe one of the 4 emperors, because he does want to defeat Kaido, I believe. Kaido. So maybe he has Law's crew, and that's why he's so determined to beat that specific 4 emperor. I'm not sure. I know that Luffy states in this half that of Punk Hazard that he wants to take down all 4 emperors eventually, but he wants to specifically save Shanks for last, which is probably good because he's more than likely one of the strongest, and it'll probably be the most emotional battle. So, Nami and Sanji switch back bodies thanks to Law. And Sanji's dream ends, but Nami's pretty happy, and it was funny because she punches him across the face, and he's like, "Why did my clothes change?" And he's like, "No, you don't understand. I had to save the samurai's body from a poisonous underwater death." Luffy heads out, does not follow the plan in any way, shape, or form. Kinemon wants to find his son, Momonosake, and they all split up once again to take care of this issue that they're having. Their opponents in this part of the battle, the big battle, finally, are Virgo, Monet, this harpy bird lady, who for some reason also has a devil fruit snow ability. I assumed Monet was a zone type, and she had some kind of bird transformation. But no, it's some kind of... She's a Logia snow fruit gimmick, which threw me off, because I assumed Okiji's ice fruit was the only type of fruit of that kind. But I was wrong. Monet must have been genetically manipulated by Caesar to become the bird lady we see today. But yeah, and then Caesar's the big head cheese, I guess you could say, even though Virgo seems much more dangerous. Luffy pulls out a new move called Gum Gum UFO, which might be my new favorite thing he does. He like spins his legs and starts flying like a UFO. I think that not only is it effective, but it's hilarious. I really love when Luffy pulls out new Gum Gum moves that are goofy. I know he's got his elephant gun and his new fiery Red Hawk fist, but to me, I love the goofiness. I've always loved this regular ass Gum Gum pistol. Just having a good time. Gum Gum pinwheel. We all remember that one, don't we, boys? So, Virgo and the crew are trying to figure this out. As the crew is running through Caesar's lab, trying to escape this deadly poison that's been released onto the world. Well, the world of Punk Hazard. He's slowly closing the gates. There's like this diagram of the lab, and he's closing the gates off one by one so he can close them off so they can all die in the land of the dead, which he calls this gas, the gas is weak AF, by the way. The gas ain't shiz. And I'll explain that later when we get to the end of this. So, battles start to happen one by one. Luffy is just taking out fodder. He is running through this building similar to when he took on all those Marines at Enies Lobby. He's following the plan, sort of, but he's just running forward and punching anybody who gets in his way, and I'm fine with that. That's the kind of tactic I would use in D&D, so, and my character's still alive. I love, there's an amazing panel of of Zoro, Brook, and Kinemon, the samurai guy they're with, all taking people out, doing a 3-way swordsman attack. And you hear the enemies saying, "It burns, it hurts, it freezes." It is pretty great. We have them all teaming up, right, with Smokey. We get to see the Land of the Dead affect some of the G5 members of the Marines. They save Tagashi or Tashigi, the right hand woman of Smokey. And they get turned into petrified smoke men. And that was pretty sad when I read it, until we find out later that the smoke is really not that effective unless you're in it for a certain amount of time. As long as you can get broken out of the shell that this land of the dead puts you in, you will be fine. Yes, I mean, it's dangerous if everybody gets caught in it, but as long as you have one member of your crew get away and defeat the enemy and come back and free everybody, which is not an easy task, I say. But that's kind of what happens. Everybody gets murdered by this land of the dead, seemingly. But at the very end, the crew goes around and breaks them free, I believe. They mention it, like, because for example, the Kinuman guy, the father of Momo, he gets frozen trying to save his son. And he falls and shatters the shell that was created by the land of the dead, and he's just fine. And they even say, "You're fine? What the hell?" And I think they explain that you have to be within this land of the dead for a certain amount of time before you can actually die. But it paralyzes you until your shell is broken. But after that, you're just fine. So they keep going on the back of Brownbeard, who's like, "Can you guys just get off my back? Because you guys are fine. Can you run without me? I'm not that fast. I'm on like an alligator body. Like, it's not like I'm a cheetah man or anything like that. I appreciate it." But they're all like, "Oh, I just want to sit here on your alligator back." They have to deal with another baby dragon, which doesn't really end up being that big of a deal. This little baby dragon flying around killing people with fire. Virgo seems like a tough cookie, but he's always got food on the side of his face. I'm not sure. I don't think Virgo has a devil fruit ability. I thought maybe he would have. Because when he first was introduced, Law like collapsed to his feet. But the thing was, Virgo had Law's heart. I don't know why Virgo doesn't just destroy Law's heart immediately when he finds out that Law is escaped. He's like, "I have your heart." He could literally kill him at any point. But he's a big fan of the finger pistol. He reminds me a lot of the CP9 guys. He does use a lot of their abilities, but in better ways. He straight up murders some G5 Navy soldiers with finger pistol attacks. I believe they mentioned that this dude is all about the hockey powers. He uses a lot of hockey, like, throughout his entire body. I'm still trying to completely grasp hockey. I do get it. There's one for armor, there's one for sight, and there's one for being a badass, like Luffy. This guy is a tough cookie. He even bitch slaps Tashigi without even thinking, with a backhand of hockey. She gets saved by the White Knight. Blackfoot Sanji shows up and kicks the shit out of Virgo, who stays standing, but he gets kicked pretty damn hard. I love it when Sanji shows up and says, like, "I heard the sound of a lady's teardrops falling." He is absolutely the greatest. I love Sanji so much. He gets hate from some of the fans that I see, but he deserves all the love. He's probably my favorite blonde-haired anime character of all time. This guy is kicking ass, taking names. Who needs food wars when you got Sanji? That should be his tagline. Even though he does do a crossover with Food Wars, if you didn't know. So, Luffy finally catches up with Caesar, and the first thing he does is just run up and punch this dude with some hockey directly in the gut. And he's like, "You're not getting away this time, buddy. Not from Luffy." Caesar is not a strong opponent. As long as you have some kind of hockey, he is nothing. If you can avoid his poison, luckily Luffy is pretty immune to most poisons now that he's dealt with Magellan. So Caesar is just not the perfect opponent for Luffy. Caesar is in trouble. The only thing he can really do is suck out the oxygen from the area that Luffy's in. And that's it. That is it. And other than that, as long as Luffy can stay away and use his stretchy abilities to fight from a distance, or his jet pistol, sorry about the coughing, then he's fine. Luffy does not have to worry about this guy. I mean, the only reason this guy is able to even compete with Luffy is because of his henchmen. When Monet shows up with her effing snow fruit ability, which is pretty dope, but nowhere near as cool as Okiji's ice abilities. I really like the little scuffle that Virgo and Sanji have. I wish they could have been the one. I wish Sanji could have been the one to defeat Virgo, but it's fine. It's whatever. They're not necessarily enemies. They do go at it for a little bit, but it's not necessarily the main issue. The main issue is Law trying to erase all the SAD, I believe it's called, SAD, that is being created by Caesar to make artificial devil fruits. What the hell? You can make artificial devil fruits now? That's crazy to me. There should be some kind of there needs to be some kind of negative effect because of the artificial devil fruits. They shouldn't be able to just make devil fruits. I think they're all specifically zone fruits, which is fine, I guess. But to me, it makes me think of the monsters that were in Impel Down had some jailers that looked like they were zone fruit users, and I think they mentioned that they were like awakened zone fruit users or some shiz. But they were all fully transformed into their monster forms, like Monster Point for Chopper, but they never transformed back into humans or whatever they were originally. So it makes me think that maybe the jailers from Impel Down, had some of these fake devil fruits, but maybe not, because it seems like Doflamingo is keeping this shiz a secret from the government, but I don't know. There's got to be a nasty after effect. I was thinking maybe they take the zone fruit, but then they're permanently transformed into the monster form, and they can't change back. Or maybe if they go into the water instead of drowning, they just die instantly. They need to have something, or maybe the devil fruit only works for a period of time and you have to have another one to keep it going. That would be fine too. But it can't just have an endless amount of devil fruit powers, if you ask me. There is a point where we get to see the inner workings of Doflamingo's little black market area, or of his kingdom, you could say, because he's technically not only a warlord of the sea, but king of a country. And he is Destarosa. I still haven't got that down yet. I think he's king of that country. He's sitting here like a G, surrounded by beautiful women and his crew. And then this girl named Baby Five blows in and says that she's going to kill him, basically. And he's had this happen before. This girl can turn her body into weapons, which is cool. She's dressed like a French maid, which is cool. She's kicking ass, taking names, but she's no threat to Doflamingo. And this happens all the time, I guess. And I guess from what I got from it, is she accepts marriage proposals a lot because she's very gullible to men's needs. And every time, Doflamingo cuts that shit off quickly, which makes a lot of sense, to be honest, because this girl's absolutely insane and does not know what she wants in life. And in a way, he is protecting her like a big brother would. But he is an absolute psychopath. I don't know. It's pretty wild, if you ask me. He doesn't even acknowledge her existence while he's on the phone, and she's trying to kill him. But it doesn't really lead to anything because she instantly basically forgives him and does his bidding regardless of him killing all of her fiancés. It's pretty rough. We have the dealings of Monet fighting fucking Luffy for a hot minute until he gets saved. Honestly, he gets saved by his own idiotic maneuver called jet spear. Like, she's going to freeze him with ice and like, you go to sleep, it's tired time. And he uses a jet spear, gum, and he goes through the ground and ends up in this underground area where he actually finds Momo, which I thought was pretty cool, who has now become a dragon fruit user, is my guess, because he ate some devil fruit that they had. I'm not sure if the devil fruit that he stole from Caesar was a real devil fruit or a manufactured devil fruit, but if it is, and he can make dragon devil fruits, like an endless amount of them, that's fucking insane, if you ask me. Could you imagine an army of dragon fruit users? That would be a war. Chopper is busy dealing with these psychopath children that were all drugged by Caesar. One of the saddest things, most disturbing things to happen in this series. Drugged and now are addicted to this candy. It's pretty sad. Eventually, they're chasing one specific girl who's got all the drugs, and she's like, "I'm not gonna give you the drugs. I'm not gonna give it to you." Even with Chopper in Monster Point form, with Nico Robin using her giant hands, they can't keep these kids away from this little girl who has these drugs. And the little girl eventually has to eat all of the drugs to keep them away from her friends, so they don't die. They don't die of basically eating. I'm assuming this is some kind of narcotic, and she probably will lose her liver or kidneys if she doesn't get immediate stomach pump, immediate medical help. Thank God the surgeon of death is with them, if you know what I mean. Virgo is kicking Law's ass because he's got the heart of Law, but eventually, thank goodness Law is a tough SOB and is able to handle people squeezing his heart. Maybe Virgo was waiting for the command from Doflamingo to actually kill Law, or maybe Law is more important to Doflamingo than I realize. My only thing that I could think of to why Virgo, a tough SOB, didn't just shatter this heart in his hand. There's something really cool I noticed about the Jolly Roger for Law's Heart Pirates, is oddly similar to the Jolly Roger to Doflamingo. And I noticed that way back at Sabaody. That's right. I remember seeing Law for the first time at Sabaody with his little Jolly Roger smiley face thing. And I thought, man, that looks oddly familiar. And then I saw Doflamingo's Jolly Roger again, and I was like, oh my God, if Law really worked for Dofi at some point, then maybe his Jolly Roger has, is a manipulated version of his. Maybe I'm just looking into things because they all technically are skull smiley faces, but his looks oddly familiar to Dofi's, and maybe we'll get an explanation to that. And I just thought that was pretty cool, if you ask me. Virgo and Smokey fight for a while, eventually leading to Smokey. At first, Smoker gets his ass beat by Virgo, but it almost seems like a ploy, so that he could get Law's heart back. Smoker's a good guy. He really is, and I hope that he becomes an admiral someday, because he is one of the good guys. And now that Okiji isn't part of the Marines anymore, they really need a good guy up there in the top ranks. The only other person I could think of that would be a great admiral, who could be one right now, because I don't know yet, is Kobe. I want to know how his powers have changed since then. But I think he would be really good at that. And he's got, he has observation hockey, or whatever they called it on Skypiea, the same thing that Enel has. He can feel people's pain. This little dragon kid, Momo no Suki, is pretty cool, I guess. He seems chill. I was kind of disappointed that he and his father are now with the crew going forward. I don't find a lot of super funny moments with them just yet. And maybe I will. Maybe it will lead to something more important. I know that they also want to go deal with Doflamingo, I believe. They've got some kind of motive going on right now. I thought all he wanted to do was save his son, but it seems like there's more to it. But this kid never ate a damn thing when he was kidnapped. He never ate anything that was given to him, so he was never drugged. But he did steal and eat a devil fruit. So I'm wondering if he knew it was a devil fruit. I know he was starving, but he was, being a samurai boy. And he's like, I'm not going to eat nothing. I'm not hungry at all. I don't feel pain. I'm a little samurai boy from Wano. But then he goes into this room and eats this crazy looking apple. And now he's a damn dragon devil fruit user. And I from now looking at the page, it does look like an artificial devil fruit. So I am curious if they can create an army of dragons now. I would not be shocked if that happens in the future. Just a dragon zone fruit army led by Kato whenever they end up fighting him and trying to fight a damn emperor. I really did think that Big Mom was going to be our next target, not Kato and fucking Doflamingo. Doflamingo is scary as fuck, though. I'll tell you that much. And it is also cool that we get to see Smoker use some armament hockey. I knew he could use hockey, but I didn't know he was so good at using hockey that he was able to pretty much take down Virgo with a couple big elbows and some assistance from a Law, who eventually slices the dude up, and because he is the Surgeon of Death, separates his pieces, and then he ends up dying in an explosion. And I just thought that was so epic, because death, even for villains, is so rare in One Piece that seeing Virgo get destroyed in front of a damn snail phone while he's talking to his boss Doflamingo was just epic. And there's no way in hell Virgo's still alive, because that was a point blank explosion. Zoro ends up fighting Monet now that Luffy's dealing with, having a fun time with the Dragon Boy. But Zoro is holding back. It's as shown by when Tashigi shows up. She's like, Zoro won't fight you full force because you're a girl. He doesn't think that you're a threat or something. Kind of like when he fought her. But I thought that was because he looked like his childhood friend who died by falling down some stairs. Which was very sad. But I guess Zoro's kind of sexist? Because he won't murder people equally? I'm trying to think of, is there a moment, please comment down below, is there a moment where Zoro fought a female character 110% and didn't hold back in the series? Because does he always hold back? Because there's a good chance that he does. There's a badass moment where Monet turns into a giant snowbird and is about to chomp off Nami's head. And fucking badass best girl Nico Robin shows up and does her Quattro Mano Spank attack, is what I got here in my manga. And does basically a forced palm out of the back of Nami's head into this snow freak. And I thought that was epic. I think that Monet should have been beaten by Nico Robin. Nico Robin, out of every character on the crew, deserves a major 1v1 win. Yes, she kicked ass against Spandam once she was freed from her Sea Prism cuffs. But it's been way too long. She's an assassin. I get it. She fights sneakily. I get it. But I want to see her go head to head with somebody like Monet. This perfect opponent for Nico Robin. Not only, they could have even shown her using some form of hockey to compete with her snow fruit ability. I don't know. We've seen that she's got the ability to create multiple versions. She can make clones of herself, like physical, tangible clones of herself with her flower fruit ability. One of the funniest moments in this half of this arc was Sanji leading the Marines because they absolutely think he's a badass for saving their lives against Virgo. And he's running by, he sees Zoro in the middle of his duel with Monet. And he looks at them and he tells his Marine followers, pull your lower lip down and taunt him. And they all go, nah. And Zoro's just like, I so hope they slip on the snow and hit their heads and die. I love that. But I do also love the fact that when they're passing by, Sanji basically tells them, like, Zoro will be fine. He can handle himself. Tashigi and Zoro end up teaming up to defeat Monet in the very end because she is worried that he'll hold back against her. There is a weird tease, like eventually when she does finally take her out with her, Tashigi eventually takes out Monet, which is good because, you know, she kind of needed it. She gets bitten in the shoulder pretty bad, though. There was a point where Monet literally bit a Marine in the shoulder and ripped it off with her snow fruit ability. And it was brutal AF. I'll tell you that right now. Man, and there was a crazy point where Zoro comes in with a slash, a one-sword style slash, where he's embodying, it looks like he's using Conqueror's Haki by the shape of his eyes. I've noticed every time that Luffy does, his iris goes white. And I was like, oh shit. Or maybe that's just a sign that he's using Haki in general, because he definitely can use some kind of armament Haki. That's how he's able to compete with these Logia users. Zoro comes in with an epic slice, slicing this bird biatch in half. But he uses this move, but doesn't use Haki, so he does hold back. So she just thinks that she got killed, and she can barely keep her form. And she's like, no! She really just got her snow cut in half, but she saw him charge up his sword with Haki, and then pull back at the last second. And then, all half deformed, she goes, you're not getting away from me! And out of nowhere, cutting mist, Tashigi saves Zoro, effing up this bird lady with her Haki. And she's like, you could have finished her off, what the hell? And Zoro's like, well, I would have finished her off if you hadn't done it. And he's like, I just thought that was interesting. Zoro even looks at her and says, nice work, Captain Four Eyes. You kept her from going after anyone. The credit is all yours. He's basically building up Tashigi's confidence in her leadership skills and whatnot. I thought that was really cool for Zoro. Zoro does like Tashigi, but I am still a big fan of Tashigi as a warrior. I don't think that she should end up with somebody like Zoro. I think she should become a vice admiral someday, and eventually an admiral, be like the first female admiral. If I was going to ship Zoro with somebody, it would probably be either Nico Robin, because she's best girl, but she doesn't need anybody. She's a lone wolf when she needs to be. But personally, as a personal love, I would think that Perona and Zoro would be such a fun couple. I love Perona's laugh. Hoda, 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 hoda. I really hope we can see her again. I really do. Oh, man. There's a point where Luffy comes in and saves Brownbeard from being absolutely murdered again by Caesar. Comes in, loads up the most epic attack you've ever seen, and punches Caesar through a wall so hard that he goes, he's like, I never want to see you again. And I just thought that was sick as fuck. I was so pumped. Man, seeing that happen was so cool. It almost was as satisfying as Luffy using his, the ultimate punch against the Celestial Dragon way back at Sabaody. You know, before I get past this Virgo guy who gets slashed to pieces by Law, he does go all crazy like with his hockey and gets like a 10-pack of abs. He gets so ripped and he's turned his whole body into a hockey warrior. But, you know, he's still no match for Law. I am curious to see. I would love to see Law and Luffy go at it. At this point, I think that Luffy's stronger because he did train with the Dark King Rayleigh. So, like, what could Law really have over him other than his cool Devil Fruit ability? So, as long as Luffy's able to stay away from Law's room and whatnot, he should be fine. That's my only thoughts there. That's it. That's it. Yeah, Luffy's I don't ever want to see you again was epic, but it did not follow the plan that Law had set forth. He said multiple times, we are here to capture you. Luffy hits this dude with this epic elephant gun, I believe. No, Grizzly Magnum, so even bigger. He uses basically connects two elephant guns at the same time. Even Luffy, when they came in, I'm here to kidnap you, or something, or we're here to capture you. He knew the plan, and he knocks this guy out. Even Law's like, what the effing hell? And as this is all going down, as the crew finally beats Caesar, Monet, and Virgo, Baby 5, who was attacking Doflamingo like 10 chapters ago, who is now listening to him again, and this guy named Buffalo, who has the power of the spin fruit, who could basically turn himself into a helicopter. And he has the Jolly Roger of the Jolly Roger of Doflamingo on his buck teeth, which I wonder if it's a tattoo or just somebody paints that on. I thought that was ridiculous. They show up. And they're doing some shiz. They're here to save Caesar. They could give two shits about Monet. They could give two shits about Virgo. I think they do like Virgo. I even think Doflamingo cares about his crew because he doesn't kill Baby 5 or Buffalo for failing. But he does have them commit suicide, basically. He has Monet almost push a button that was going to basically self-destruct the entire lab, killing everybody in the area of this lab. And she doesn't get to do it, thank goodness, because Caesar, being the dumbass he was, assumed that he had Smoker's heart this whole time, and he thought that he had Smoker's heart that was given to him by Law, way back when he thought Law was on his squad. Turns out he assumed it, and it was really Monet's heart, it was given to him probably a year ago, and he just took the heart and stabbed it. So if Monet is still alive, I will lose my fucking shit. Because she literally got stabbed in the heart by her boss. Well, one of her leader, Caesar. Her boss, I guess, would be Doflamingo, who's also Caesar's boss, sort of. It's kind of an interesting dynamic here. This whole time that this is all going down, I was like, what the F is Franky up to? Like, Franky didn't get to do a whole lot this entire arc. But right when Baby 5 and Buffalo show up, Franky's there in his general armor where the poison can't affect him. I'm not even sure if the poison can affect him in his regular form because he's just mostly cyborg at this point. And he has a mech battle with Buffalo and Baby 5, which was absolutely epic. I had such a good time. This might be one of my favorite Franky fights yet. Him fighting. I wasn't a big fan of the mech suit at first, but this fight was so awesome. The crew all starts to escape on this crazy train railroad escape hatch that used to be used to have the sad transfer to Doflamingo, who sells it to Kato to make these zone fruits. Oh man, everything gets so crazy in the last 5 chapters. This Baby 5, I was actually a huge fan of, and I hope that she's more important going forward, because she like turns herself into a revolver at some point, but she's still got her her French maid legs and lower body, and I thought that was so epic, and starts firing guns at Franky. Franky's like, I didn't feel a thing. Yow! I'm super today, baby. There's a point where Doflamingo says thanks for everything you've done before Virgo gets exploded. And Virgo smiles as he dies when it explodes. Kind of eerily smiles as he dies. And it would be very frustrating if he survives from this point-blank explosion. My only thing, I wonder about Virgo's relationship with Doflamingo. How they've been together for a long time. What's going on there? So the crew gets out, luckily enough. Virgo dies. Monet dies, which is awesome for me as a fan of committing to deaths in your series. I know Oda doesn't like to kill off characters unless he absolutely has to, and it's good for the story. But these 2 bad guys needed to die here. They were in a situation that was inescapable. I mean, being stabbed in the heart seems pretty inescapable, and being shot point blank by a shotgun seems inescapable, but Brownbeard escapes with his G power. But yeah, Franky takes out Big 5 and or number 5, what's her damn name? Baby 5 and Buffalo like a badass. They don't stand a chance. They actually try to escape with Caesar, one last escape attempt. And I love this because Usopp and Nami show up, and Usopp's like, I'm not afraid of an enemy at long distance with no will to fight, especially when they're wounded and they have their backs to us. Leave it to us. And Zoro's like, we get it. And Usopp pulls out a new black Kabuto with like a living plant attached to it. It almost seems kind of scary. It eats a bunch of rubble, and he launches a shot at Buffalo, Baby 5, and Caesar. Meanwhile, Nami pulls out her tempo climb attack thing and does a crazy lightning shock to them. They start falling to the ground, and you see Caesar go, I'm just gonna float away, suck it. No way, Jose, because the last shot that Usopp shot was Sea Prism's shackles that he found while he was in the lab, which was absolutely epic. Fucking Usopp thinking 4D chess here, people. Usopp is a total G. He took this dude out. If Usopp didn't do that, Caesar would have gotten away, and it could have been a major ordeal. Usopp has saved the crew multiple times. Here, Thriller Bark, East Lobby when he got those giants to join the crew for a hot minute. I mean, Usopp is such an important character to this crew. Even when he's being an absolute coward, he finds a way to contribute, and I absolutely love his character for that. They save the kids. They all have a party. Kinuan is alive, the father of Momo. Somehow he survived this gas. This gas that Caesar has been working on. My only canon explanation in my brain is that the gas didn't instantly kill them because Caesar's really shitty at his job, and he made a paralyzing gas that would only kill people after a certain amount of time. And if that time doesn't pass, you can break them out of their shells and save everybody. One of my favorite parts of this arc, at least these last 5 chapters, was seeing Sanji actually get to cook. He got to use some of the new recipes he learned from Ivankov, whatever, the Queen of Queens, new cooking skills. I like it. It's just nice to see him do the thing he does. He's a cook and he's a fighter second. I would love to see Sanji bring some of this new cooking skills back to the Baratier someday. And I'm also just very excited to see Luffy fight the 4 emperors. And I know that he's going to save Shanks for last, which is almost a given. Why would you fight Shanks absolutely first? But I love the idea that he wants to crush the 4 emperors one by one. Like, I'm not sure if Law's plan is just to crush one and take their spot, but Luffy wants to be numero uno king of the pirates. If there's a ranking system for the emperors and all the pirates, then they're basically the admirals, and fucking King of the Pirates is number 1. King of the Pirates is the fleet admiral pirate man. And then Doflamingo decides to show up in the last couple chapters. Last 3 chapters. Doflamingo can fly, by the way, somehow. Please comment down below. How the hell does Doflamingo fly? What the hell is the point? What the hell is the point of Doflamingo having the weakness to the ocean seawater if he can just fly over it? I'd love to know how he does this. I know he's got a bird in his name, but I don't think it's because of that. And I thought his Devil Fruit ability was basically Puppet Master. I'm not sure, but he's able to control people's body with strings that like Puppet Master strings that come off his fingers. So he basically turns people into puppets, kind of like Kankuro from Naruto. He shows up, finds Baby 5 and Buffalo's head, and the deal is set. They want Doflamingo to quit the 7 warlords, and they'll give him back Caesar. And basically, Doflamingo's freaking out for the first time. He's never been this frustrated, because without Caesar creating the SAD, Doflamingo can easily be fucking taken out by an emperor. I would have to say right here, right now, Doflamingo's not as strong as an emperor. So he is not as strong as Big Mom. He is not as strong as Kaido, whatever his damn name is. I'm assuming these things based on his reaction. He's like, well, I don't want to fight Kaido at all. I just thought that was pretty wild. So he shows up on the island trying to not only help his crew, he helps Buffalo and Baby 5 get their bodies back, which was sweet of him. And he goes to kill... He probably did kill a couple of the Marines that were still on the island, Punk Hazard, waiting for their ship, I think, or he landed on one of their ships. Doflamingo. Okay, now I know what it is. I think Tashigi took the kids on one of the escape ships to leave, and Smoker and his crew stayed behind, because I was wondering where Tashigi was when he was about to be effing murdered by Doflamingo. It would have been so crazy and almost satisfying for me as a fan of epic deaths, because it would have set up Doflamingo as a total jerk face, killing Smoker in cold blood just because he knows too much. But one of the most hype moments from this arc is Okiji showing up with his icy fruits like a badass. When I first saw Okiji, I thought he was kind of a goofball, but damn is he a badass with his ice abilities. And he freezes Doflamingo temporarily on the outside. Doflamingo breaks out, I'm assuming using hockey or some form of maybe some form of armament hockey. He breaks out of the ice before he can be frozen to the core. And he's like, I have no desire to fight you, Okiji, but if I don't have the option of silencing Smoker, then I'll have to change my tactics. Will you just tell me one thing? Where do you stand? Just what are you now, Kuzan? I'm assuming that's Okiji's original name. Or his first name, maybe it's Kuzan Okiji. The rumors I heard aren't good. What's going on with Okiji? What rumors did Doflamingo hear? Next time, hopefully I'll find out. Okiji talks to Smoker about some kind of like black market stuff. It seems pretty crazy. And he also warns Smoker that if they don't do something about Doflamingo, then this will be the greatest challenge yet faced by Sakazuki's new naval headquarters. I'm assuming Sakazuki is Akainu. We get to go back to the crew for a hot minute, where Momo gets to have a bath with best girl, Nico Robin. Nico Robin is best girl, and she got to nakedly take a bath with this little boy. I hate this little boy now, by the way. Momo, what the hell? I am right there with Sanji and Brooke, who are telling this little perverted imp to get away from the queen that is Nico Robin. I do have another question about Nico Robin and Nami, though. They seem like they share a bed, which I'm all for, but I do wonder why they don't have their own room in this massive ship. Maybe they're just sharing a big-ass bed, by the way, because the little boy's with them, and they're just super into little boys. Not in a bad way, just like, hey, you know, just they want to take care of this kid because he's been through some shiz, that's all. They're into helping kids. But Doflamingo in the paper the next day, which these papers are very well sent out to people in their ships somehow. Even pirate ships get these papers. Leaves the Seven Warlords and abandons his royal throne at Dressrosa. But also in the paper, the Law, who I thought was a warlord, probably not anymore, probably wasn't. I'm getting kind of sick of the characters like Law or Blackbeard becoming warlords, but not committing to being a warlord. And same with Boa Hancock. Why would the government allow these sons of bitches on their squad to protect the world when necessary, but then most of them don't even listen properly? But we also find out that Kid, Apu, and Hawkins, the Kid Pirates, the On-Air Pirates, and the Hawkins Pirates, have all formed an alliance, and that seems pretty scary as well. Are we going to have to fight them? That'd be sick. If the next arc, before we get to Dressrosa, was them fighting Kid, Apu, and Hawkins as like a little mini arc, I'd be here for it. Because Kid really reminds me a lot of a Vegeta of the series. I don't know why he's got just the evil look in his eye. I could easily see this guy becoming a total mini-boss for Luffy to have to overcome, or Law to have to overcome at some point. I know he helped them out at Sabaody, but he really didn't ever seem like he gave two shizzes about being part of the 11 supernovas or whatever. He probably just helped them because he was just trying to leave. He literally has the power of a magnet fruit, I believe. He is pretty OP with his ability to take all metal and use it as a damn weapon. I really can't wait. Apu and Hawkins aren't necessarily that dangerous to me yet. Apu was able to do some damage to Kizaru, kind of. Hawkins has some kind of weird what's it called? Scarecrow fruit gimmick going on, and he can predict the future, I guess. But I'm excited. I'm really, really excited because this whole thing ends. This arc ends with Doflamingo just about to answer the phone from getting a call from Law. So they're going to make the deal. They're going to give them back Caesar so they can create more fake zone fruits. I don't know. What's stopping Doflamingo from not only quitting the Warlords, pretending to quit the warlords, or quitting it temporarily, getting Caesar back, calling up the government and saying, hey, I had this issue, I didn't really want to quit the warlords. Can we just say that was fake news? I want to stay on the warlords because I don't want you guys to follow me or bug me. All in all, I want to give Punk Hazard an 8.5 out of 10. And that's pretty damn high, because I would say like Marineford was a 10 out of 10, and I don't think it reached the hype that Marineford was. I would say that I nostalgically still love Arlong Park more, but maybe it's a nostalgia thing. And, I mean, there's a lot of characters that weren't involved there yet. The world was so small then, and it was encapsulated everything that I love about this series. But Punk Hazard was so much fun, an absolute blast, and people are telling me in the comments that it just gets better and better from this point on. And I'm so excited to see what happens next. I am Mr. Morphetto, and this is Morphanime. Please comment down below. If you guys could, leave me some questions. I would love to do a video about questions that you guys have for me about the series, and I would love to do like a whole video just answering my followers, the subscribers' questions of my opinions on things that maybe I haven't talked about yet. I would love that. If I can get 20 questions or so in this video's comments, I would totally make that video and just go through each question one by one, no matter how goofy they are, just like Oda does at the end of every chapter. But yes, subscribe, tell your friends. We are now at 400 plus subscribers, people. We are going to make it to 1,000 this year. I can absolutely feel it in my bones. Oh!